Around right now, you've probably already seen the trailer for Metal Gear Survive from Gamescom 2016, which is a brand new Metal Gear game that Konami has announced, sans Hideo Kojima. Now, I have some thoughts on that. I'm not going to go ahead and show the clip on this one, mostly because I just got home from work and I'm trying to get this done as soon as possible before I get to sleep. But okay, let me back up a second before I really get into this. A few weeks back, one of Konami's social media managers was going around social media, Facebook, Reddit, and a lot of other popular social media applications and sites and things like that. And he was asking for players to... He was telling players that Konami wants your trust back. That Konami wants to get back into the good graces of players. Obviously, myself with the other middle-aged guys, we went ahead and we made a reaction video and we talked about that. And we came to the conclusion that things probably weren't as rosy over there at Konami as the corporate people hoped that they would be, especially now since they decided to go ahead and just do pachinko machines and free-to-play mobile applications. In a nutshell, they told everybody who was a gamer, who was a dedicated gamer, that was aware, a fan, they told all their fans to fuck off. When they decided to just go ahead and move over to everything, they said that they weren't going to be concerned with AAA titles, and that they only wanted to go ahead and do Pro Evolution Soccer and various other game releases here and there. Now, the drama behind Konami and Hideo Kojima's separation is very well known. You could Google it up. You could find information about it. Lots of it. Tomes of it within 2 minutes. The thing that really kind of put a lot of gamers off from, sitting there and saying, well, it's just one guy. It turned out that, no, a lot of the creative people at Konami were... creative developers were being treated bad. A lot of employees were being treated bad. And when it came down to, okay, we're really not concerned with games anymore and all that would have been fine. But then they had to go out of their way and play with our emotions. They wanted to know what games fans would be interested in as far as digging out of the library and revisiting. They have multiple IPs and stuff like that. And a lot of people said Metal Gear Solid 3. And then they released video showing, hey, look, this is an updated version of Metal Gear Solid 3. And then it turned out that it was for a pachinko machine. Yeah. Obviously, I don't know if they're being malicious, but they're obviously completely out of touch. And I think what's happening is that just like many other things that go wrong with the video game industry, and I've said this multiple times, I'm on video saying it multiple times, the biggest problem with the industry right now is that it's a creative process controlled ultimately by bean counters, people who only look at the bottom line, people who are looking mostly just to go ahead and turn a profit and to make investors happy, so that they can get more money in their hands, hopefully to go out of their way and, put out more things that give them larger profit margins. As a result, Konami, just like many other video game companies, actually very many other producers of products out there, are really looking forward to making the most money out of as little working product as possible. That pretty much sums up the struggle that Konami has had to deal with over the last few months as far as what gamers think about them and what they're going to do next. Because, unfortunately, their pachinko plans aren't going as well as they were hoping they would go. They're not turning as much of a profit off of their free-to-play games. And when you have monsters like Pokemon Go and other, you know, other games that are just so embedded in the casual gamer psyche, the type of person who's going to download a free-to-play game and mess around with it while they're waiting in line at the checkout or waiting for the bus or waiting in the DMV, you know, they started to realize, hey, maybe kicking all the gamers to the curb was a really bad idea. Anybody with their mind, anybody with a head on their shoulders could have told them that. But, you know, in their own hubris, they decided that they were going to stick to where their guns. Now, it turns out, I guess, that they're not making as much money as they're planning to, and they want to go back and tap into the well that they went ahead and that they poisoned, pretty much. They want to come back, and they want to go ahead and see if gamers are willing to give them money again. Now, obviously, their most famous franchise that they've had, especially over the last few decades, has been Metal Gear, the Metal Gear Solid franchise. So they're going to give us a new Metal Gear game, sans Hideo Kojima, called Metal Gear Survive. And if you've seen it, I know that there are many more well-known YouTubers out there who probably already made videos regarding it. They've already given their thoughts, and it's been dubbed Resident Evil Solid, Metal Gear Zombies. I am just going to sit and call it Generic Gear Survive, because it is probably one of the most generic third-person multiplayer zombie action games out there, at least from what I've seen in the trailer. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to preface this is that they went ahead and they released a trailer, and they also released a statement as far as describing what the game would be. And in their words, Metal Gear Survive picks up from the ending of Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes to an alternate timeline caused by unexplained wormholes forming in the sky. Players find themselves on distorted desert landscapes full of massive half-formed structures, living biological threats, and the remains of a once strong military force now litter their landscape. In a struggle to survive on this harsh terrain with deadly creatures, soldiers who were previously on Mother Base now must work cooperatively in order to survive. Metal Gear Survive continues the pedigree of Metal Gear Solid 5's highly praised gameplay design. I can't even read that with a straight face. That's just... but that's their words, not mine. Let me continue. With a unique blend of stealth and co-op play mechanics, players can strategically manage massive threats with the help of 4-player online cooperative play. New weaponry will also be introduced to combat charging creatures in lethal environments as well. Okay. Basically what they put out was a multiplayer zombie game. Okay. And there are a few things about their particular statement that they put out really kind of concerns me, and it indicates where these corporate people who are decided to go forward and making this game, what they're actually thinking. Right off the bat, okay, the co-op online play, okay, their mindset is that we can't have it solely single player, because if it's solely single player, then we just have one person, you know, buying the game, and then from there they're going to go out of their way and they're going to tell everybody what the game is about, and that, you know, it's not going to sell well. All right. Not knowing that even if it's multiplayer, if word of mouth is really bad and reviews are really bad, that's going to happen anyways. But I digress. So what they're hoping here is that groups of people are all going to pick up the game and they're all going to play the game at the same time. And, you know, with the multiplayer aspect of it, it's going to force large groups of people to go ahead and pick it up because they all want to play. There's no way that they're going to give you local co-op on it. Just absolutely no fucking way that they're going to do that. That's, again, just pointing toward the type of mindset that they want. They want to turn numbers here. They want cash. They want your cash. Then there's the other thing where it says new weaponry will also be introduced to combat charging creatures and lethal environments as well. In other words, expect a shitload of DLC. DLC weapons that will make it easier for you to actually survive and get through, surviving through the hordes of zombies, crystalline zombies on top of that, don't make any fucking sense, that are coming after you and your buddies, if you guys even get that far to pick up this game. This whole model right here that they've got it set up is dependent on having as many people go out of their way to buy this game and to play it persistently online, pick up DLC so that they can get the most money out of as little working product as possible for this particular game. Ground Zeroes came out in September 2015. It was in development for years. A big portion of that was because Kojima was building the Fox engine, which this game uses. But as far as the gameplay goes for Metal Gear Solid games under Kojima's watch, they were all focused on giving you, a very specific experience as a player. I'm going to admit I haven't played through all of the Metal Gear games, but watching the trailer, reading their press release, reading their comments that they've released out, this neither sounds nor looks like a Metal Gear game. All right, Konami, this, you're not going to fool any players with this. This is very blatant. It's a very blatant cash grab. You want to turn out as many units as possible. Sure, I know that's every fucking publisher out there. Okay. But this is so condescending that it's just asinine that you're even hoping to go ahead and do this. You have your guy Ben go out of his way, hit up the social media accounts and hit up the social media racket, make his rounds, trying to go ahead and drum up goodwill. Oh, we're going to start putting out games again. And then, you turn around and you do this. Granted, it's not a fucking pachinko game, but, the people that you're trying to convince to actually go out of their way to get this game, although they may be fickle and they may be mercurial in the way that they make their decisions, they do have long memories. Because the truth of the matter is this. The video game industry isn't supported. It's not buttressed. It's not just, it's not being supported by parents who buy their games for little Johnny and little Susie to play and get them out of their hair for a few hours out of the day or a weekend or whatnot. No, actually, those little kids, little Johnny and Susie, they grew up. They have their own money. They've been playing games ever since they were little. A lot of them remember the Konami from the 80s all the way up until now. I mean, Konami from the early 90s and into the turn of the millennium was just awesome, And they remember Metal Gear. They remember Metal Gear Solid. What you've offered everybody isn't that. You know why? Because they remember this. 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 And maybe they have digital copies of Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Solid 5. What you offered to everybody it's not Metal Gear. It may be Left 4 Dead. It might be Resident Evil. It might be Call of Duty Zombies, but it's not Metal Gear. Okay? Don't think you fooled us. Go ahead, bring it out. Hopefully this is something that'll maybe turn some heads, maybe make some heads roll in your corporate office. Because the truth of the matter is that Konami as a company, all the goodwill and all of the fame and reputation that it used to have, that it built up, that was good, it was built on games. It was built on good games. Whatever the fuck you offered today, August 17th, 2016, at Gamescom, it's a game. It's a game with a Metal Gear title slapped on it. But it's not fucking Metal Gear. That's that. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. Like I say at the end of every video, if you're so kind, hit like, hit subscribe, leave me a comment below. Every comment is the start of a conversation, and like I say at the end of every good conversation, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with me. If at any time you stop, you think about what I'm saying, even if it's just for a small moment, guess what? I've accomplished much more than you can even imagine.